If you're on self-improvement, there will come a chapter in your life where you've outgrown your old friends, but you aren't advanced enough to be friends with the people that you want to be friends with. This is a paraphrase of a quote that I heard on the Modern Wisdom podcast. And I was actually speaking about it with my friend the other day. We were just speaking about what I usually speak about, having a good social life and building that up, right? And we're just speaking about how there's just a period where it's difficult, right? It's the lonely chapter where, I mean, think about it. Your old friends, right? Your old friends still want to play video games. You still want to go out. Even just the conversations, right? I don't know if you've noticed, but like there are certain people that when you speak to them, like you're really enjoying, like you can speak to them all day, like you love the conversations. Then there are other people where the conversations are just shallow, they're boring, and that kind of happens when you start to like improve yourself, right? Like you start, someone like me, like look at the conversations we have on YouTube here. Like we're always speaking about self improvement and what we're gonna do in our future lives and everything. And it's the same thing with some of my friends. But then there are other people who don't speak about stuff like that, and then the conversations are they're just kind of like they're not they're not interesting, right? So you think of like your old friends, like it's like that, right? It's just not for you anymore, and you've outgrown it, for lack of sounding like arrogant, like you it's just not for you anymore. But then the people that you want to be friends with, right, like the higher value people, they're just difficult. They're difficult to find, first of all, because there's fewer high value people. There's fewer of them to go around, so it's difficult to find them. But also, of like the higher value people, right? There's the group of people who are like you, who like they're so busy working on their lives. Like I think for myself, I wake up, I go to like the gym, I come back, then I go to work, I'm there the whole day, I come back home, and then I'm like working on like scripting for YouTube or whatever. I still go to social events. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm there, I'm around. Like I'm seen around. That's because I'm trying to build my social life. But for a lot of us, there are a lot of people like us who you don't like. You're just not everywhere. You just can't be everywhere, right? Like you're not gonna find me on a Tuesday afternoon, you know, at some event, because I'll be at work, right? Or I'll be doing other things, right? Like so, there's a group of people like that who you're just not gonna see them because they're so busy working on themselves, right? They're still in that monk mode period, right? Let's say. Then there's the other group of like high value people, but like the ones that you do see, they're the ones who are going on holidays every weekend. They've made it. Like they've hit a certain level, and they're just too advanced for you because they live a lifestyle you can't afford yet, right? Like you're still in the building stage, so you get what I mean now, right? Like you're like in this middle part where the friends that are here, like you've kind of outgrown them, and I'm not saying like that you're better than them, like as a human, but like you're living a different life, right? So you've outgrown them, but then the people that are here, you aren't quite enough to you can't live the same life as them. You can't keep up. They don't want to be friends with you because for the same reason you don't want to be friends with like your old friends, because you just like the conversations just wouldn't be the same. You can't relate, and that's where the difficulty comes in with the lonely chapter, right? And I don't think I need to explain to you like the importance of having friends, right? Like I've spoken about this so many times with my friends. I've spoken about this so many times on this YouTube channel about how like, bro, you could be going through anything in life. You could be going through anything, the toughest thing in life, and as long as you got your boys, like life is good. I remember Andrew Tate made a quote about that, and I've always thought about that from when I was a child. I was always like, I don't want to be that guy who's like rich and lonely, and it's kind of weird because everyone's like, oh, I don't want to be rich and lonely. It's like, bro, you could try as hard as you can. You'd be lucky to even get rich, right? But that's beside the point. Like I was always like, I want to have my group of friends because that's what makes life fun. I was a kid when I thought of this, right? I mean, just think back to like school, right? You go to school and the learning itself wasn't fun, but you still kind of look forward to school. If you're like me, like you still kind of look forward to school because you got to see your friends, right? And if you're in the same class as your friend, you look forward to that friend, right? You look forward to that class because then you could just talk crap the whole lesson with your friend, right? Or whatever it is, or even work, similar thing. Whatever it is, you could be going to something boring, something tedious, but if you've got your friends, it's still somewhat exciting to be there, and that's obviously the importance of having friends. Like life is just more enjoyable. But also, I was speaking about this with my friends as well, where I was saying that like it would be nice to have like those guys that like started from the bottom. You have those friends that you grow with from the start. You start with, and you guys are in different stages of your, you guys are in different stages of your lives, and then and you just keep building. And like I've made like a few friends online now that are speaking about this, whether it's like it's exciting, right? Like I'm 21 now, I'm be turning 22 in like 2 months, and it's like our lives are just changing, like they're just changing, like new different things are happening, and the next couple of years are going to be, there's going to be so much rapid change, and it's like it's nice to have like people to do that with. It'd obviously be ideal if you could have like, you know, friends that you can say, oh, from the cradle to the grave, right? Like friends you've had from the start, right? But obviously that's difficult to get, kind of like with relationships, right? Like I don't know about you guys, but I know like if you've got a mentality like mine, you'd love to have had like a childhood sweetheart, let's say, right? Like someone you've grown with, or even again, like if you're someone who's becoming like someone like high value, it's nice to have like that, find like your wife before that. Like you think of like those athletes who like get rich and everything, like richer people get rich and famous, like it's nicer for them to have like that wife, that girlfriend before all the fames and all the fame and riches come, because you know other than the fact that you know you're not gonna worry about like loyalty because you're there with you like at the bottom, it's also just nice to grow together. Like you see how your lifestyles change together. Like that's awesome. But as I said, I don't need to explain to you like why it's awesome to have those friends. But like, yeah, the lonely chapter is, it's really difficult. So how would you deal with this, right? I was at a men's conference, right, like last week. Well, when I post this video, it'll probably be like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I went to a men's conference right at a church, a massive church, Rivers in Santon. It was awesome, right? We had like lots of guest speakers and everything. And one of the preachers was speaking about group faith versus personal faith, right? And he was speaking about how like there are a lot of people who have faith, like they have good faith, like they have confidence, like when they were within their group. But the moment they're left alone, problems, right? Like the faith falls away, they don't know who they are anymore. And, you know, again, like I've spoken time and time again about the importance of having a good group of friends and the importance of fellowship. And it is, because, you know, isolation is where the devil takes you to die. But he was speaking about how he was using the Saul versus David. He was speaking about Saul and David, right? King Saul and King David, right? And he spoke about like the David and Goliath story. And before, like Saul was a person who you could say had group faith, right? Like he had strength in numbers, he had his big armies and everything. But then when the enemy changed the strategy and he was like, and Goliath came and was like, who wants to challenge me one on one? Saul couldn't do anything. And that's when David came in and he had like a personal faith. And then, you know, we all know how the story ends with David and Goliath. But basically what he was saying is that like, even though it's nice to have like group faith, you need to go through those periods where you build your personal faith, because sometimes the enemy, like that Goliath did, will change their strategy, right? Like they will find a way to isolate you and you need to fight them one on one. Like that's just how it goes, right? And I'm just thinking in the example, the situations I'm always giving you, like where I'm saying like, oh, it'd be nice to have like a group of friends and everything. It's like going through this lonely period like builds serious character. Like if you want to be part of that group of like high value guys who've got like someone, you provide value for each other and everything, and you just live good lives, and you know, like I said, you're high value and everything. And I hate using the word high value, but you know what I mean when I'm saying it, right? But yeah, you guys, like you get after it in life and everything. Like it's important for you to bring your own strengths, and that lonely period really builds your character, your own strengths. And once you get together with your friends, like you meet them and everything, you've got substance, and you also want your friends to have substance. So that's the importance of going through the lonely chapters, getting put through that fire so you can be refined. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of the oh gosh, I gone blank. You guys let me know what you think of the topic in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you boys.